give you those silly little questions. If you ain't a doobie, then who be you? And you
It's
gotta answer
6.
that.
It's 6.
All right. It is 6 o'clock, and we will call the April 23rd Dorchester County Board of Zoning Appeals meeting to order. It is determined that we do have a quorum. Mr. Reeves is absent tonight. Mr. Dwight, if you would please lead us in the invocation.
Thank you. Father, I thank you for allowing this board to assemble together one more time. Father, we ask you to give us wisdom, knowledge, and understanding, and help us make the best decision for this community and for this county. Amen.
Thank you, Mr. Dwight. Amen. If you'll please stand with me and address the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Everyone, please be seated. Everybody received a copy of the minutes from the March 26th meeting. At this time, the board will entertain a motion if there is no need for any addition, deletions, or corrections. Is there any conversation to that order? Seeing that there is none, board will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion to accept the minutes from last month's meeting.
We have a motion by Ms. Harper. Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Chairman.
We have a second by Mr. Dwight. Any further, or Mr. Dixon? Thank you, sir. Any further discussion? All in favor, vote by usual signs. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Minutes will be adopted. First order of business tonight is V 2506. It is a variance request from section 7.3.5C to encroach into the minimum yard requirement of the R2M district. Mr. Administrator, if you would, please give us the details.
Thank you, Your Honor. We received this request to allow for a manufactured home to be placed on an existing lot, which would encroach into the required side yard setbacks. The lot here was platted a number of years ago, actually in 1967 is what I found. It had limited width and depth to sufficiently place most of the mobile home plans available today with the required setbacks of the zoning district established in 1984. The side yard setbacks at that time, however, were 5 feet rather than 7.5 feet, which they are now. The lot is approximately 40 feet wide by 100 feet deep. Sorry for my microphone there. Lot size is legal, but it's non-conforming as the required lot size for the zoning district is now 7,500 square feet and 50 feet wide. So the lot is a really unique and difficult situation. We do believe, however, a small home could be built on the lot. We do agree, though, that the standard homes, and we did a little bit of research on manufactured homes available, would have a real difficult time meeting within those setbacks. That being said, based on the ordinance, staff's not able to approve it, and therefore the applicant was required to apply for a variance. The situation that a lot of these lots are doing when a new home is placed in here is they're actually putting it on 2 lots rather than 1. But you can see they're tied in here on both sides by lots that have existing manufactured homes on them, so they really don't have that option to purchase lots next to them. The applicant has provided responses to the standards required for consideration of a variance. We've provided that on the attached application form. After our review, staff provides the following facts based upon the requirements for a variance. 1, the lot is small and does not meet the lot size requirements of the district. The lot was created prior to this ordinance and therefore has a legal right to develop so long as it meets the district standards. There are extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the piece of property due to existing conditions. Number 2, these conditions generally apply to other property in the vicinity, so they're not unique. Number 3, without the variance, the owner would need to find or build a smaller home to follow the district regulations. Number 4, authorization of the variance may have an impact on adjacent properties that would have had the standard 7.5 foot side yard setback. So based on those facts presented in our analysis, staff finds the application does not meet the requirements for a variance and therefore recommends denial of the request. I believe the applicant is here and available for any questions, as am I. Thank you.
Okay. Any board members have any further questions of staff at this time? I assume that given the, at the point the property was established in, you said 19?
1967 was the
Okay, I just wanted to confirm that because there was, I think, a typo in the original packet we got. Yes,
I have a question.
yes, please.
I lived on that street. Is this, lot changed since then? There's been something unique about the way it's approaching out, the stakes and anything like that?
No, the lot hasn't changed. What changed was there previously were 5-foot yard setbacks, and now there's 7.5-foot yard setbacks.
What I,
Still a trailer lot.
Yep, essentially manufactured homes are permitted there, and that's what it's primarily been developed with.
I'm assuming that we've established that there are no other units that were built with the 5-foot boundary at that time, or from the original establishment?
A lot of the existing mobile homes that are there do follow that 5-foot yard setback.
Okay,
That was established in 0413. So 2004 is when the 5-foot went to a 7.5-foot.
so there are homes within the 5-foot
Oh,
currently?
yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
They've not moved, for a number of years. So.
Now, should they be moved and someone else move back in, the 7.5 or the 10-foot or 7.5-foot side yard setback would be applied, correct?
It would, Your Honor, with the exception that a legal nonconformity can continue. And when it's applied for a manufactured home, if you move a manufactured home off and you bring one back on within that same footprint within 2 years, it can continue to be a legal nonconformity. There's a 2-year clause within our ordinance, Article 5 of our ordinance, dealing with nonconformities that can continue.
All right. Are the applicants present? Okay. If you would approach the podium, please. If you would state your name for the record,
Good afternoon. My name is Ariana Bedola.
and if you would raise your right hand. I promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
Yes, I promise to say the truth.
Thank you. All right, tell us a little bit more about what we may not be seeing here in the application.
Well, as you can see, I'm trying to put a new mobile home there. It's 28 by 48. And at the beginning, I was planning on put a new mobile home that it was 16 by 70. I was going to apply to do that, but I thought it was easier to just get that 1.5 foot from each side and just apply for something larger. The lot that is next to me, they just put a new mobile home. It's not a new mobile home, but it's not like 2 months or 3 months ago. They put a mobile home there. It's 16 by 60. So I'm just trying to use the lot, that's all I got to say. Yeah.
I'm just trying to best utilize the
Yes.
lot and asking for the variance.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Any board members have any questions for the applicant? All right. Thank you so much. You may be seated.
Much.
Anyone else wish to speak for or against?
Good evening, everyone.
If you would
Mr. Chairman,
please state your name.
Tom Limehouse.
Promise to tell the truth, whole truth, nothing but the truth.
I do.
Thank you, sir.
I own the lot 2 doors to the right of this. I own another one further down the street. And over the course of the past few years, I've had 3 or 4 other lots on that street.
Is the lots you have, they away from Ashley Phosphate?
Yes, we had one on Ashley Phosphate where the fish place is, but I've had 4, I believe, inside the residential area of Bray Street. What she's proposing will make no change in that community whatsoever. I've never met the lady. I just happened to glance at y'all's packet and saw that this was on the thing. And since I've got a little more firsthand knowledge of the street than I imagine y'all do, I thought I'd share my knowledge. I'm not gonna say I've got any wisdom to share. but what she's proposing, the lots are designed for 5-foot setbacks I don't think county council ever intended by changing the ordinance to run double wides out of some of these areas and make everything the old 16-foot mobile homes. A lot of these over time have been mobile homes from the 60s. So they went in early and didn't come out, and the gentrification would be the wrong word, but the neighborhood's getting updated. The county just been a considerable amount of money working on the sewer lines in there, and it's going to make for a much better area. This is a unique situation for this area and some other ones when they change the zoning and don't look at the minute details, but I see that's why y'all are here.
Thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Anybody else wish to speak for or against? This time we will close public comment. Any discussion from the board? Board will entertain a motion. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, I tried to maybe speak up during the public hearing. I do want to just add to the applicant's comment. Their initial submittal would have required a variance from either the rear or the front yard setback. So I just kind of want to clarify what she was saying there. So her second application was for a different style home, and it just encroached into the side yard setbacks as opposed to the front or the rear. Options are kind of limited for what you can put on there.
So they've already made concessions to try and better.
They've come up with different alternatives to try to
Right.
make a better situation, I believe. So,
Okay.
thank you, Your Honor. Sorry to interrupt.
If there's no further discussion, board will entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion that we approve the variance request, searching for the words, due to the fact that this is a unique property. It's currently non-conforming, so that itself sets it apart. Also, a lot of the other homes in the area are also non-conforming with the new setback, so it would be no detriment to the surrounding houses.
All right, we have a motion by Mr. Gillikin to approve the variance. Is there a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any further discussion of the motion? All in favor, vote by the usual signs. Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right. So we've got, that motion doesn't pass. Is there another motion before the board?
I want to ask another question.
Okay.
Do they not make 24-foot wide double wides?
I'm not a manufacturer.
I mean, I'm just trying to figure out, don't they make an optional size?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. Okay.
The board is still open to another motion. All right, I'm gonna pass the gavel.
What are the front and rear setback requirements?
25 front and 25 rear, Mr. Lott. So it becomes sort of difficult on the front and the rear.
Right, right.
Yeah.
The size of the mobile home is 28 by 48, correct?
That's what they're proposing.
That's what the proposal.
Yep. So I think instead of going for a normal length, they went for a shorter length, but a double wide. Yes, what they're asking for. So. And I'm not an expert on what the manufactured home housing community has for stock, so I hate to jump in and give you a lot of dimensions of what's available. We did, in our analysis, just looking at tiny homes, stick-built homes. Our analysis determined that a person could build on this lot. It is buildable. But what the Clayton Homes is one of the bigger providers around here, and we just kind of researched what they had available, and then noted that most of what is out there is people are bringing in used manufactured homes that are, have a different size, and so that's what we've seen. A lot of people are rehabbing older manufactured homes and bringing them in there, or using 2-3 lots to try to accommodate.
So,
Which is not an option for the applicant at this
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Not an option for the applicant. So the home, is the applicant wanting to encroach into the 7.5-foot side yard on both sides, one side? What was the total?
They're proposing both sides rather than,
They want 1.5 on each side?
yes, Your Honor.
yeah, so originally it was 5 feet, correct? And then it was moved to 7.5 feet.
Yeah,
So if we were still using the standards when these were plotted back in 1984, when the zoning was done and everything else, this would conform and, as a matter of fact, give her an extra foot on each side.
yes,
But because we're at 7.5 feet now, which these lots don't conform to today's ordinances anyways, we're looking at giving up 1.5 feet on each side to make it 6 feet opposed to 7.5 feet.
yes.
Uh,
Okay.
Also, if there was, also, any of the current residents that are within the 5-foot boundary, if they were to remove a home and replace it within 2 years, they can still place that home within the 5-foot boundary.
In the current footprint that they're in, so I.
Correct.
yeah,
Yes,
potentially,
I'm saying,
yeah.
if I went in there and I bought a lot and I yanked a home out that was on that 5-foot boundary, even though we are currently at 7.5 feet, because it was established there, there are still people that can put a unit back on property
That would be-
within the 5 feet without having to get a variance
Yeah.
due to the change to the 7.5.
Yep. That's Article 5. It's how we've applied it. It doesn't specifically write in there that if you move a mobile home
Right.
back on it, but we've interpreted it that you have a legal nonconformity and we'll put it right back on there. Just if your house burned down, you can.
Well, I'm looking at the pros and cons, more so the pros that it wouldn't be detrimental, because we already have a number of existing homes on this street that are within the 5 feet or would still be allowed within 5 feet without a variance request to the new 7.5 feet. So, we have that to look at that's in the applicant's favor.
Are those on double lots though?
Say again?
Are they on the double lots?
I'm.
Any lot,
complete-
really, yeah.
I would say that would be any lot.
Yeah, so there's, for instance, if I can, Your Honor, the property right next to it, I have pulled up on the aerial image here. It is likely, and I don't want to use our GIS to say that it's correct, but 111 Barrett Street appears to be pretty close to that side yard setback. If they wanted to, they could replace that mobile home in its current spot there, so. Got my mouse hovering over that one. I hope that illustrates what you're trying to.
Are there any other lots available on Barrett Street?
Yeah, they own this lot as opposed to.
They own the lot.
I think I'm gonna take a stab at it. I will pass the gavel to Vice Chair. I would like to make a motion to approve the variance based on the fact that the resident is asking for a total side yard setback reduction of 1.5 feet on each side. I would further like to state that we should approve based on the fact that there are homes currently within the outdated 5-foot side yard setback, and that there are homes still on property that, should they move, they would be allowed to relocate within the time that is set forth in the zoning ordinance of 2 years. So this still allows folks to use the 5-foot instead of the 7.5-foot, which would be detrimental versus actually a plus to moving in a home to have the extra space.
I'll second it.
We have a second. Any further discussion?
Anybody? No? Okay, all in favor? Vote, normal?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it.
Yep. Thank
Your
you.
variance has been approved. Thank you, board. That was. Next, you have to forgive me, as gets lost in the paperwork up here. All right. Next, we have a variance request from section 7.4.6A to encroach into the minimum yard requirement for the R3 district. Mr. Administrator, if you would give us the details on this, please.
Thank you, Your Honor. This request, again, is for encroachment into a setback. This is for placement of an attached enclosed patio sunroom to encroach into the required rear setback. The addition, when connected to a building, is not considered an accessory structure. It's just considered an extension of the primary structure. Therefore, the primary setbacks apply. Required rear setback here we determined to be 25 feet, and the applicant is requesting to place the enclosed patio at 14 foot 7 inches. I included a little bit of background, another unique case where previous ordinances were drafted and amended and adopted. So I kind of wanted to bring this to your attention. This neighborhood was platted really at a change in our previous ordinance into 0413, what is today. And I think they tried to mimic how it was written there, but we think there's a little bit of a typo that we want to correct with an amendment to the ordinance. However, if that were to apply, it would go from a 25-foot rear setback to a 20-foot rear setback. So their request to have an encroachment at 14 foot 7 really doesn't make a lot of difference in it, but I still wanted to clarify it because we're dealing with a variance and we need to be specific on what they're asking for the variance from. So apologize for all that confusion in the staff report, but I wanted to make sure that it was recorded, I guess, in some means. With that being said, the applicant has provided responses to the standards for a variance on the attached application form in your packet. After review of the request, staff provided the following facts. One, there are no extraordinary and exceptional conditions pertaining to the particular piece of property due to existing conditions. Two, these conditions apply to other property within the vicinity. Number three, the ordinance does not prohibit owner to effectively utilize the property. It only prohibits them from extending the improvement of the existing structure into the required setback. And number four, the authorization of the variance. We see it will have minimal impact on the neighborhood. The property to the rear of this is wooded property owned by the HOA. There's no amenities or no potential development back there, so it would have minimal impact. However, based on the facts presented in the analysis and the requirements for a variance, staff finds the application does not meet the requirements and therefore recommends denial of the request. Available for any questions. I believe the applicant is here and available as well.
Great. Any further questions of staff?
You want to go ahead? Or?
Please.
Yes, I do have a question. Just to clarify something, since we are talking about an enclosed patio, is that what I remember?
Yes, ma'am.
Because of the setbacks and the strange language and stuff that we're looking at here, what about, just explain to me, would they be allowed to put an accessory building in their backyard?
Yes, they would. And they'd only be required a 5-foot setback.
And they'd only be required a 5-foot setback.
Yeah.
So, in other words, if they built a pad, put a roof over it, enclosed it, but didn't attach it to the house, they'd be allowed to do that.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, just wanted to clarify, because that's what I thought, but I wanted to make sure we were speaking the same language. Thank you.
All right, any further questions of staff at this time?
I have two now.
Go ahead.
So is it because is it because it's attached or because it's enclosed?
Because it's attached and enclosed. If, they just put a patio, paver patio, whatever, what have you,
Right.
that's not part of the structure.
Okay, so the main thing is it's attached, which puts it in our.
Into
on
our
table,
lap,
okay.
yeah.
And then you mentioned the property behind, because they have a unique situation where they're they're backing up to, I guess what appears to be woods. That's owned by the HOA?
Yes, sir.
The whole thing?
Yep.
Huh, okay.
And one more comment, question, whatever. I did, because I do my research on this, that the HOA is what, 25.66 acres?
27.66.
27. Okay, and Dorchester County owns all the land behind it, which is like 56 acres, correct?
Yes, 52.
So, and those are not buildable acres? I mean, I understand the HOA thing, but which allows for the 26, 27, whatever acres it was. So that's a lot of woods.
That's all wetlands primarily.
Go ahead. One question, is there anything there right now? Sometimes they build houses and they have a little slab there. Is there a slab there now, or is it just dirt?
Yeah, I believe there is a slab, but I'd probably ask the applicant to verify that. I
So they would be essentially building on that slab and then closing it, attaching it?
I'm trying to pull it up here to maybe verify. It appears to be a slab there, but the applicant.
There is a slab, and that's what you're going to use as your floor system, build on that.
We'll bring the applicant up. Good evening. I have to, pardon me, if you would state your name for the record.
My name's Morgan Alderman. This is my husband, John Alderman.
Great. If you would raise your right hand. Promise to tell the whole truth and nothing but the truth, so help me God.
I do.
Thank you. All right. Tell us just a little bit more about the details with your application and, some of the finer points we're looking for.
Absolutely. Yes.
Please.
Go ahead. So, as it's been established, I'm here to respectfully request a variance to allow us to enclose our existing 10 by 10 patio slab to build a sunroom. The purpose of this space is simple. Our German Shepherd loves being outside, and we want to give her a safe enclosed area protected from the weather and bugs, while still being able to enjoy the outdoors as a family. The sunroom, as established, the sunroom would extend into the rear yard setback, reducing it to 14 feet by 7 inches rather than the required 25 feet. However, this slab was already poured when the house was built, and we're simply trying to make use of it in a way that won't affect anyone else. Our yard is fully fenced, and there are wooded HOA-owned parcels directly behind us, so the addition wouldn't impact any neighbor's view, privacy, or property. Both of my adjacent neighbors are renters. They've been notified of the project and have not expressed any objections. One's currently out of town. The other was unavailable to provide a written signature in time for the hearing. And the required public variance notice has also been posted in our front yard, and we've received no concerns. It is worth noting that many homes in our subdivision already have sunrooms or similar enclosed patio structures, and we believe our request is in keeping with the character and development patterns of the neighborhood. Additionally, our property line is unusually short compared to nearby lots, which limits how we can expand our outdoor space. The sunroom would allow us to better use what little space we do have in a way that's practical, attractive, and minimally invasive. And we've provided photos of the existing slab and backyard along with a copy of our survey to show the layout and distance from neighboring homes. And we've made every effort to ensure that this addition will be low profile, well-maintained, and consistent with the look and feel of our neighborhood. And thank you again for considering our request.
Thank you. You have to forgive me. I was having a coughing fit when you were talking about the slab, but you're using the slab that's there now. Is it going to be enlarged at all?
No, just still have the 10 by 10
Okay,
space.
so you're using everything that's already existing on the property. You're basically just going to go vertical right off the top of it
That's correct.
with the necessary, necessary improvements to build on top of.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Okay. Anybody else have any questions of the applicant?
I have one with the pictures, just to clarify, 6-foot fence?
Yes.
It's a 6-foot fence that goes all the way around?
Yes, sir.
Great, thank you.
Mr. Lawton?
I noticed in the packet, this has been approved by their HOA,
Yes, sir.
the same people that owned the property behind the, okay,
Yes, sir.
okay.
And just one question, just to add, first of all, thank you. This helps a lot. So since your house is is pushed back, looks like, from the other houses, if you did build something, it looks like looking out of everybody's window, reasonably, unless they were looking sideways, but they wouldn't even see this.
Right. I stood on the slab and took the pictures from every angle.
This is great. Okay, so they really wouldn't see this. You don't have any houses behind you. There never will be.
Just woods.
Okay. Right. Mosquitoes,
Yeah,
soon to be.
we're
All
in the
right.
low country. There's
Right.
always mosquitoes.
Yeah, right. Thank you.
Any further questions for the applicant? We thank you for coming. We thank you for the packet. We'll make sure that gets added to the application.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else here to speak for or against? We'll close public comment. If there's no further conversation, board will entertain a motion.
I think I would like to ask one thing.
Sure.
I'm always trying to learn. So, because last month's meeting, and we run into those type of things, are we allotted at all to change variance guidelines because of a 6-foot fence? Because of anything like that, like we do for commercial properties?
Thanks for the question, Ms. Harper. I would compare this a little bit to, if you recall, a pool that we looked at that was being built in a side yard on an odd lot.
Yep.
And whenever we determine a variance to be approved, you provide findings of fact, and that's why staff provides our findings in the staff report based upon how we read the ordinance. We
Absolutely.
don't base it upon discretion because staff doesn't have discretion.
Yeah.
Things such as taking pictures of the impact it might have to neighbors, the 6-foot fence, things like that. If you recall the pool, I think staff, knowing that they were going to make that comment, made a comment at the meeting or maybe within the staff report that we somehow require that the fence stay up. I don't recall off the top of my head if we actually made that a condition, but you could make that a condition that a fence be required as part of this application. Now, we're not going to go out and make sure they have the fence, but if somebody complains and the fence is down, then we could say you need to put the fence up or you need to remove the patio.
Well, and thank you for the information. The only reason why I was asking is because, honestly, we always seem to run in the same circles. It's, if we're asking about setbacks, we're going to be dealing with this for 6 months, just different people asking.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to be as accurate and ask the questions and make sure that I understand exactly how we're moving.
Sorry to interrupt. The important thing I always think about a variance too is if you're going to apply some sort of standard to this and somebody walks in the door tomorrow,
Yep.
they should have the same expectation that you'll treat them the same. So, points being made such as the building being set back, nobody seeing this, the HOA property behind this, that's going to be HOA property in perpetuity. I'm not trying to lead you to a decision, but if you're going to make a decision, we have to base it upon facts, and those are good facts, I think. So,
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you.
One last question. Does the height of the fence impact upon this?
I think either way, the structure will be higher than the 6-foot fence. It's a matter
Oh,
of
yes.
perspective.
Yes.
view, And
It has to be.
I think we would only allow up to an 8-foot fence. I don't think they could go any higher than that, but nor would we want
And
them.
you own the fence, right?
Recently, that's how we discovered our property line being as short as it is. We would think it would be a lot further back, but unfortunately it isn't.
All right, if there are no further questions, the board will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion. I would like to make a motion that we approve the variance based on the facts and findings of, A, it's not going to disrupt the neighborhood. It's consecutive with what I see. B, we've got HOA property behind it, so we're not encroaching in on someone else's yard. There's even more property behind that will forever be wooded. See the fact that it is surrounded by a 6-foot fence already, but most importantly, they're building on an existing pad that was there when they purchased the house, and they're not going to make it any larger.
All right, we have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
We have a second. Any further discussions? All in favor, vote by usual signs. Aye.
Aye.
Ayes carried. Motion variance is granted. Thank you for everything this evening. Don't believe we have any old business or new business. Thank you to the board tonight, to all the board members for really kind of having very active conversation and thinking all the points through to help the applicants in their requests. Is there a report from zoning administrator?
No, Your Honor.
Any public comment? All right, motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn?
We have a motion, is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion, meeting is adjourned.